You get better ROI because you can launch faster. Your first iteration, your first version gets out quicker, which means you can get ROI right away. So generally the idea is you're rolling out something new that's going to be more aligned with your business at this current point in time. Could be a different CMS that gives you a completely new website. It could be an e-commerce offering that you never had before, and you can start getting that right away. So because composable solutions are rolled out like an agile methodology versus waterfall for traditional solutions, you get that right away. So looking at the second bullet point on the left there, not only do you get results sooner, but you can pivot much quicker. So I think this is huge because a lot of people come up with this big idea of what they want to roll out, and that's kind of set in stone. They're like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And as they start building everything out, they realize, wait a second, maybe that second thing wasn't really the right decision. Maybe it was the wrong platform, the wrong architecture, the wrong goals in the first place. And so if you look at what you can do with a composable solution, you can stop at a V1, measure your ROI, and then change and pivot. And this kind of goes into the last bullet here, which is kind of related. If Joel, you can throw that last bullet up. You can adjust and perfect your result as you go. And this completely includes replacing a platform. So a lot of people are really scared. The mentality back in the day is, I'm going to roll out a solution and I have to commit to that solution. But if it's not the right solution, why would you stay into that solution for X number of years until you think your company is going to come up to another iteration point or another point where they say, oh, we'll rebuild this or whatever. You need to make sure you're getting the best ROI, the best results for your investment. And that may be replacing that platform or completely changing how you rolled something out. And you can only do that in a siloed kind of composable solution where you can look at one component and say, let's roll this out in small chunks, measure the ROI, is it working, is it not, and pivot very, very quickly. So that's where you get the most ROI with a composable solution.
Yeah, because you can take into account what you have learned as part of that first iteration. And maybe you've learned that, we're on the right track, but maybe you learned that we want to do something quite different, a little bit different. And we want to pivot to either a new platform or something different. That's really great. Cool.
The interesting thing with a monolithic platform is if, on the opposite side of this, let's say you did all your requirements for your CMS, for your search, for your e-com, for all these things, and you picked a monolithic solution and you start rolling that out. The problem is now you've done all this work for all those other platforms and or components as well. And if one doesn't work out right, can you pivot? Well, you just spend a whole bunch more time figuring out kind of your whole ecosystem. Versus with the composable, we recommend you don't pick all those other systems until you start rolling things out in case you need to change something. And that even includes the CMS, which obviously for us, we don't want to promote that as a CMS company, but it's the right way to promote it, because if it's not the right CMS platform or rollout for you, you have to get better ROI. Otherwise, it'll just come back to bite you and the platform at the end of the day.
I actually want to dig into that just for a second, because what we're seeing in my experience is folks that have previously implemented massive monolithic DXPs in their organization, and they've understood that it's like, oh yeah, we are not nimble, we're not agile, but we do want to pivot. What they're doing is leaving that kind of in place, and then picking an MVP, picking another version 1 of a thing so that they can see ROI on at least something and get started on composable. And I think that's how bigger enterprises are kind of getting into this,
right? I think it's, if you look at that scenario, I think it's not just ROI too. I think they're just nervous because they've been so used to rolling out large DXPs for enterprise. It's a different world, right? And it's a different mindset for the team as well. So, can that work with their culture? Can that work with their team? Or the agencies they work with, or the development teams and things like that. So I think it's also a test run just to be like, how would this work for us logistically, internally? Which obviously can improve ROI as well if your teams can be more nimble, like you said in the last slide. They don't have to be one huge, group of all these teams and divisions. You can silo them a little better, just team-wise as well.
Right.